Today I'm here to give you guys a rundown on what we did to build a world-class music room. And I'm serious when I say world-class. It's been proven and tested. It's a 2-year project in the making, and I want you to stay to the very end because we're going to give you a taste when we crank up this music room with these millions of dollars in speakers. And that's serious, that's a lot of money, and these things are fantastic. So I'll grab a glass of wine and join me. Be careful not to spill it because it's got nice carpet. Actually, there's no carpet, it's just got beautiful floors. So let's get going. Oops. So when the homeowners bought this home, we had to knock a hole in here. This was the backyard and it was literally full of dirt. So we come in and we dug out the entire backyard to create this walkway that gets you into the addition, and it's been removed. If you can kind of see, there is a little corridor outside because we don't want that sound of this music room and theater room transferring into the main house. So it feels like it's disconnected by this hallway, which it is, and you can hear the echo, but wait till I get into this room. The echo totally goes away. Here is a world-class, one-of-a-kind music room. Sound engineers have been in and tested the quality of the materials and stuff in the room, and they have given it 2 thumbs up, one of the highest ratings they said they have ever experienced in a music room. So you get a true sound experience when you're in here. And I'm going to take you through a tour and show you what all these things are about, and you will be totally amazed on what we have created here. All right, as we enter the music room, I'm going to close the door. This door is solid mahogany, and they're all 8 foot tall. And when that thing shuts, it's like a vault door. It's very important when we designed this room that we added all these materials on the wall. It's all about reflecting sound and keeping the room, the term I think they use is making it sound like it's dense or dead. You just want it as flat as possible so you get the true sound experience out of these very, very expensive speakers. We wanted to create not only the sound experience, but a lighting experience as well. So we have several switches and we keep them all together. I'm a big fan of that. There's no reason to be walking around a room, turning on lights when it's a big open room. But just above here is this thermostat. This room has its own heating and cooling system, and it's the best that you can put in. It's so important because of the equipment generates so much heat year-round. You may not know this, it's actually difficult to get air conditioning in the wintertime into this room. So this is able to do it. This is a touchpad. Everything's the best you can put in. This is over a $2,000 thermostat. So the old dials that we're used to wasn't good enough. We went with the best here. With these walls, it's not your standard wall. We had these framed in 2x6s, and then we had to sandwich another wall in between them. The drywall literally has metal in between it and a special glue. Everything is about creating a soundproof room. Here is your standard, basically 2x6 wall, and then we built it out again and again. So behind this fabric, this is actually a fabric panel which does additional soundproofing, but there's been foam, drywall that we attached to the wall, everything we could possibly do as we ran tests to make this room sound basically like a studio if you're going to record music. It is top notch. These are lights that I don't have turned on. I can find a switch here. I got all these switches and can't even figure them. What? Does it take a while for it to turn on? There. I had the first switch and I didn't let it turn on. So these are these sconce lights that go around the room. It's a little bright for the video, so I might turn those off now as we walk through. Baseboards are set off from the wall because behind this is a raceway, and the raceway is where they can add additional cabling on both sides. So if they want to add speakers or modify the room, they are not boxed in from what we did today. This electronics is like everything else. It's always being updated. There's new stuff coming out. This homeowner is on the cutting edge of the latest and greatest. As his music tastes change, the room can grow with him as well. Behind this door is another room where they just keep all the records, and it looks just like this right here. Thousands of albums that he can pull from, and he has them all logged in on his iPad, so he knows exactly where they're at. And these things go on a turntable. I'm okay, I think, to say this. It's not your normal turntable that we all had in high school and college. This thing is upwards of $200,000. He didn't even put the needle on yet. He's waiting to when he gets fully moved in to put the needle on this turntable. First thing I asked when I was visiting with Doug on his music room is, where are we going to hide the speakers so you don't see them? That was a big no-no. These speakers are so expensive and so advanced that you really want to showcase these things. They're positioned in the room specifically where you maximize the sound, because when you sit in this room, the ultimate place to sit is this middle chair right here. Everything's been positioned and measured so that you get the best sound quality from what I call the catbird seat. That one there is the place to be. So when you're sitting here looking back, people that are really into music, like the homeowner is, when he brings his people over, they are so tickled to be able to see what they've done. Most of these rooms have equipment all over the place. There are some speakers in different locations, I believe, but right now this is where these big amps, and they are on all the time and they generate heat. Right now I'm touching this thing and it's a little warm to the touch, just short, not quite hot, but getting close. They're always generating heat. So come wintertime, we've got to find a way to get this heat out of the room. And you notice behind me, it looks like we have a fireplace on. That is not a fire. That is actually water vapor that simulates fire, because we cannot have more heat put into this room. And that is something that we've come up with. We've never done that before. We have the plumber actually plumbed water lines to that versus a gas line. I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen something like this, but I'm tickled. It turned out really nice. Typically when you're in these rooms, you're sitting here almost with your eyes closed, or you're just relaxing and you want something beautiful to look at. Typically it's just speakers, but we've added this backdrop. Now the white you're seeing here is just a test run. We're trying to get a sense of, when they run the speakers and run tests, if that is enough to help reflect sound. Those are coming off, and the artwork is going to be going on there to simulate that similar look, but it's going to be beautiful. It's all painted, looks really nice. So we'll hopefully be able to show that to you here real soon, but that doesn't come on for about another 2 weeks. So if you were to look over, let's say a city, and you're flying over it, you see all the buildings sticking up. So that would be a top view looking down. If you take that and stick it up on the ceiling and paint it, that's what we've done in this entire room up here to, again, to deflect sound. When we painted it, it was like a sponge. I think we had to paint this thing like 8 to 10 times. It just kept soaking up the paint. I think it is a sponge. It turns out absolutely beautiful. It actually adds to the room. It feels so comfortable. A lot of these music rooms, if you go online and Google these music rooms, they're pretty sterile and they're not fancy at all. So do yourself a favor, take a look at that and see what you think we've done here and how beautiful this room has turned out. So I remember when I had my stereo, I had a receiver and a turntable. Well, this is all made out of, I believe it's a granite. It's a solid, heavy stone. This thing is so dense because they want when you turn on all these receivers, they don't want the sound waves or ever transferring through to the floor. So they have little things on here what they call spikes. They go right down like a little tiny spike, and it sets, which also helps reduce the sound, where it just continues on. They'll be adding more and more equipment, and I'm not smart enough to tell you guys what all this stuff does, but all I know, this is that turntable I was telling you about. I better not touch it. This thing is like a piece of artwork. What I'm more amazed with is the size of the cables that they use to transfer from one speaker receiver. When they do transfer these plugged from the speaker to a receiver, check out these little puppies. They look like dogs. As you can see, I don't know enough about this to talk smart enough, but I'm going to have the homeowner Doug come through and share his experience and help educate us on what it takes to get to this level of music. But I've always asked him, what the heck are these things? This thing looks like a robotic pet. What he tells me real quick is that, it sits on a super heavy duty stand that moves. This thing doesn't move at all, but these cables go from the amp, from here to the speaker, and all this thing does is to help reduce the sound waves. So Doug likes to entertain people when he comes down to the room, which he's done that for us on just little tidbits. When you are sitting in this room, you want to have like a little gathering area. Even though this is the perfect seat, my ears are not that sophisticated, so I'm just kind of glad to be in the room. So he's created a little area back here where people can come in, sit, have a glass of wine, talk, and then what they do is they just talk about different kinds of music. Doug pulls out his iPad and puts on all the different kinds of music that each person might enjoy. And it is an unbelievable experience. What we have captured in our video, hopefully it transfers through to your headphones so you get just a little taste of what this room is like. It's very special. I might as well film some of this. So we're getting a test run of a theater room that we've taken 2 years to build, and now it's finally finished.
Let's see this.
You're giving us a little variety of different
I'll give you
types
a
of
few
music.
little cuts here, different things.
Doug has this huge, what is that? Is that an iPad just full of?
It's an iPad. It talks to the server down there, and the server has all the music on it. This is a lady named Shirley Horn, probably the best jazz vocalist of her day. She had the ability to just pause at the right times to make it beautiful. Imagine you're in a concert hall, and you're in maybe seat row 12, and you're listening to this concert. It's a composer named Faya. This is called the Three-Cornered Hat, and this is the introduction. It's almost a stage piece, like opera almost, because there's singers and there's dancers and castanets and all kinds of stuff going on.
Wow, I hope the viewers are able to put their headphones on and get their best headphones to pick up on just a little taste of what this is really like. But you have to be sitting in this seat to fully appreciate what's going on here with all these speakers.
Okay, this is from a film called Alligator, and this is Matthew McConaughey, and he's talking over a campfire, I think, to a group of people and telling this story about the legend of the white albino alligator. But the cool thing about this is Michael Brooks' score, which is basically an electronic score that almost feels like it fills the room all around you. Oh,
Yeah.
encompassing that.
Yeah. It's kind of coming from behind us.
Yeah, it sounds like
So,
it.
yeah.
You do that with phase and various techniques.
When you have your event here with your friends and stuff,
Yeah.
do you do the same thing? You sit here, then you talk about different music, and you do a presentation for them? Or
Well, I like to be interactive, so I let different people choose different music as well. So we don't just do the music I choose, but yeah, I do some of this. And when I have a group, like a visitor from the store who is interested in these speakers, I'll give him similar, maybe more lengthy cuts, but I'll give them an idea of what the speaker can do, and then we'll talk about their preferences in music and let them play the kind of stuff that they like. If they like Led Zeppelin, I can look up, let's say, A Whole Lot of Love.
All right, let's hear that. Okay.
You need cooling.
There's right.
There he is. Okay, Doug, I have to ask. So, with the way your music's set up, when you get in your car, you have your stereo at home,
Yeah.
you can adjust the treble, the bass, and all that stuff. But this is all set to where it's supposed to be, or is it up to where?
Exactly. This is exactly what that record would sound like and should sound like. Everything varies in terms of its quality. You can hear some differences.
But when you tune up this room, there's a way. It's not tuned to the treble that you like or the bass that you like. It's the way it should be.
This is a pretty accurate
Portray of the
portrayal,
of the
good word,
Okay.
of what is on the file.
Okay.
If it's a digital file, or the record if it's a record. That's a very good recording.
Yeah. Is this a record too we're listening to, or was
This is a digital file.
a digital file? Okay.
Manufacturer of the speakers told me is because the waveforms coming from very low frequencies, these are crossed over at about 32 hertz, which is very, very low. I can turn it on and off, and all you sense is that the room enlarges a little bit. Here's an example of
there's-
how low you can go.
Oh wow. You can feel it against your chest.
Hip hop. There's some language issues in this.
Oh. We need to be sitting in your lowrider in your car, kind of cruising through the neighborhood, listening to this stuff
a
with
good
the
song
windows
for
down.
that.
Yeah.
Everybody will hear that bass at least. They won't hear the vocal, but
No,
they'll
they
hear
just
the
boom,
bass.
boom.
Several of our guests last night said it's one of the best rooms they have ever heard, which is a nice compliment to the work your guys did and the work my guys did and I did.
There was a lot of people involved.
A lot
I mean,
of
we
people
started with a
involved.
big concrete hole in the ground and then just kept building out, building in from there, basically, is what we did.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you for, we'll have that party, hopefully, to show you what it looks like with all the different players and maybe some interviews. So let me know what you think if you want
we're
to
really
hear
looking
that.
forward to
Take your shoes off when you come over, though.
Yeah.
I did. I took my shoes off. This right here is an amp. Is that what you said?
Right. This is an amplifier. There's two amplifiers, one for each stereo channel.
Okay.
So they call them mono blocks. And each one puts out all Class A power, which means that the power supply is turned on all the time, not just when music is playing. So even though there's no music playing, feel how warm it is?
Yeah, they generate a lot of heat, don't
It
they?
generates heat, but it's a very, very good way to produce very clean power. So that's why
And what does this thing what does this weigh?
it's 450 pounds.
Wow.
And then the stand it's on weighs another 200. So we're actually supporting 650 pounds here.
Good thing we're on a concrete floor.
That's right.
650 pounds.
And I think we did.
We poured it extra thick. We didn't know we were going to have something that weighs as much as a bobcat almost in here.
Well,
But
if
then
you look at, the speakers weigh 600-700 pounds.
these right here, 700 pounds, these
Yeah,
speakers.
the subwoofers weigh a lot. I'm not sure what they weigh, but probably 500.
Let me ask you this, Doug. Excuse me. What these just are so impressive. They look like artwork. What
these
and
are
this
the
is on a
speaker
cart.
cables.
Oh, those are speaker cables
The
right here.
speaker cable, and that's what we call a network. And in the network, what we're doing is taking out the radio frequencies in the power, so that the speaker doesn't have to deal with difficult high frequencies. And we're doing some power correction to make sure that we get the low frequencies properly coupled to the loudspeaker. And this is their very best network.
Wow. Even though the cables are this big around coming out, they still need something in the middle here.
Yes,
Too.
yes. It's their theory of how to properly transfer power from an amplifier to a speaker. And it's one of the best sounding speaker cables in the world. And you heard it.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Then not only this can't just sit on the floor, I suppose, but this also sits on a stand.
Yeah,
this is
also isolates
look at
from
it has a little
noise. Concrete does transmit vibration very well. So what you want to do with concrete is try to isolate all your equipment from the vibration of the floor, and that's what these stands do.
You guys probably do not have one of these in your house, but if you did, we need to get a hold of Doug and his company. We can get you one real easy. With the heat that these generate, you see up here in the ceiling, we have a special heating and cooling system that you found that we needed to put in because when it kicks on for AC or heat, we didn't want to hear any air coming out.
And I've had people measure last night and said it was by 7 dB the most silent room they've measured. So they're really impressed with what the HVAC people did.
Wow, so I give them hats off. So those guys go home, their wife and kids have they just put in metal ductwork, but now they've built the ultimate music room.
Yeah, listen to our voices in here. They sound very natural. That's the way a great room will sound.
You've had one in your last house, and that's what started this entire project, is to get this room built and your media room built upstairs. We got the house done before. You got your music room, but was it worth the wait?
Oh, yeah. I'm very excited to have it. I'm going to be here a lot, as you can imagine.
It's awesome. So, and he's got a back door, so hopefully I can just knock on it some night. If I see the light on it, midnight, I'll come in and have a glass of wine and listen to music.
That is what the intention is, absolutely.
Man, this is beautiful. Well, thank you, Doug. This is fantastic. I hope you guys enjoyed that, but a lot of technical things. Let me know what you think. If you want to know more information, reach out, and I'll get some answers back through me, through Doug, and back to you again. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this music room video. I got the supersized remote. Before we check out, I'm going to see if I can figure out where some of my favorite musicians are. I can find out a button that's for Taylor Swift or Cardi B. So let me know which one of those are your favorite. So I'm going to sit back, relax. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm Brad the Builder.